Okay, what is this about Trump cucking out to Ukraine? After getting to know and fully understand the Ukraine-Russia military and economic situation, and after seeing the economic trouble it's causing Russia, I think Ukraine, with the support of the European Union, is in a position to fight and win all of Ukraine back in its original form? I guess this is like this is the positive side of his brain being soup, which is he probably does not remember the 500,000 times he said that Ukraine's position is unlosable. Unwinnable, and that Russia was going to win and take him over. Tulsi Gabbard, right now in her office, bolting her door shut. She has amassed a massive supply of Coca-Cola and Funyuns, and she's just going to ride this administration out. Putin is currently yelling at her. Yeah, she's like disconnecting her phone lines. With time, patience, and the financial support of Europe, and in particular NATO, the original borders from where this war started is very much an option. The original borders from where this war started, I don't know if that means the Donbass or not, or Crimea. I'm going to guess this means no Crimea, but and not the portion of the Donbass from pre-2014, but still more territory than they have now. Why not? Russia has been fighting aimlessly for 3.5 years, a war that should have taken a real military power less than a week to win. Wasn't familiar with your game. This is not distinguishing Russia. In fact, it is very much making them look like a paper tiger. When the people living in Moscow and all of the great cities, towns, and districts all throughout Russia find out what is really going on with this war, the fact that who talked to him? The fact that it's almost impossible for them to get gasoline through the long lines that are being formed and all the other things that are taking place in the war economy, where most of their money is being spent on fighting Ukraine, which has great spirit and only getting better, Ukraine would be able to take back their country in its original form, and who knows, maybe even go further than that, marching on Moscow. Putin and Russia are in big economic trouble, and this is the time for Ukraine to act. In any event, I wish both countries well. We will continue to supply weapons to NATO for NATO to do what they want with them. Good luck to all. Okay, so Lockheed had a conversation with him. Is that it? Yeah, literally, MIC applied the jumper cables to his nuts. Precisely, yeah. That's the only thing that I can think of here. Gotta keep the money flowing. He may just dislike Putin personally. I mean, sure, but the fact that he phrased it this way makes it pretty clear somebody had to talk to him. He found non-credible defense. Russia responded. Russia says no choice but war after Trump's U-turn on Ukraine. Oh, no choice but war. As opposed to the other thing that Russia was doing up until this point. Now you've done it. The Kremlin has announced it has no alternative but to continue waging war. Yeah. Okay. Same as it always is. Yeah, he just met with Zelensky. I guess that's literally it. He met with Zelensky and like 3 MIC officials, and that's all it took. Whew. Well, are we allowed to be pro-MIC now? No. However, I am now, as I always have been, fully in support of Ukraine taking back as much territory as they can. Zelensky showed him a little Dark Age edit. Little Ghost of Kiev, or maybe Zelensky in like the putt-putt barrel plane, flying over the Donbass, throwing hand grenades down. This time they're going to send their real army, the one they've held back for 1,300 days. They have to run out eventually, man. They have to. I don't know how well their social fabric would survive another general muster. Their birth rates are not high enough to justify the numbers of people they're throwing at this conflict. The gas lines thing is serious. Yeah. Eventually they'll send women. They couldn't send women. The social fabric. They will start drafting women before they admit error. No, I really don't think they could. That would be like, that would collapse the country. There is absolutely, for one, the rate of sexual assault for women conscripted into the Russian military would be 100%. It would be over 100%. We'd be getting into Trump percentages. For two, the whole in right-wing countries like Russia, like military conscription is framed very, very much as like the men are going to defend the homeland while the women take care of the home. If the women start getting sent out to die too, all of these high school sweethearts and stuff, the whole like narrative, the whole promise of what this means for the country and its future, what you're defending, it all falls apart. Obviously, this is all like the consequence of irrational chauvinist societal standards, but you know, they're still there. Drafting women is more likely to collapse the country than retreating out of Ukraine. I actually agree. I agree, yeah. If they did a general muster and they started getting, they brought like 200,000 women forward too, I think that would actually be more damaging for the regime than just straight up leaving. That'd be bad. Trump also started talking about how NATO should just shoot down any Russian plane that comes close to the border. I don't know what they did to him. Tased his nuts. Russia is banning fuel exports to conserve fuel. What? Kremlin bans fuel exports until the end of the year as Russia's supply is disrupted by Ukrainian drones. Buddy, how the f are you going to pay the death money that you give the families of the children you send out to die in the Donbass? What the f? How are you going to get that money? They never intended to pay that anyway. They do pay it. It's like the main reason people are still doing this. If they die, the family gets a big chunk of money and their son comes home a pile of mush in a zinc coffin. It's just 3 months. I don't think this will amount to much. You'd be surprised, man. They're already quite literally running on fumes. 3 months of not being able to, like, pour... Like, yeah, winter is coming, so they need more fuel domestically. But, like, it's also the time when other countries need fuel. It's their best pay period, you know? That's crazy. Yeah, true. It's also... That's 3 months now. If they have to extend that, they might have to keep it going all throughout the winter. If they had to keep from exporting, imagine they can't export fuel and they also don't have enough domestically all the way until like March. I mean, fuel for Russians is not like a luxury good or whatever. Like, they're all gonna die, man. Yeah, Ukraine's been doing a good job of targeting them economically. How cucked was it that Biden spent the first year dissuading Zelensky from going after Russian fuel resources, when that's obviously how you win this war? Russia has so many people. The thing you need to cut off is its fuel. Ukraine's worsened fuel shortages across Russia in the past week continue to hit Russia's refineries, energy infrastructure, long-range drones, while Poland has called for more oil sanctions in wake of Russia's first drone attack on NATO soil. Russian forces took the villages of Sosnovka, Novonikolayevka, and Dnipropetrovsk and Olhivsk/Olgovskoy in Zaporizhia. Got it. Since 2024, Ukraine has fought through slow tactical retreats designed to cede limited ground for disproportionately high Russian casualties. That's probably the best strat, right? People talk about Russia like moving further in, but the idea is that if Ukraine keeps this up, where they keep like fucking up their fuel industry, eventually there will be a breaking point. Like the rubber band will snap, and this slow encroach of Russians will just have to leave. Because they just, again, like especially in the winter here, they literally can't survive without fuel. It gets really cold there. You don't just need fuel for moving vehicles and stuff. Like your ass is gonna die if you can't keep those supply lines on. I wonder how bad the fuel lines are in Russia. Hold on. Russia fuel lines. Because winter is coming. They're only gonna get worse. Gasoline export ban extended for producers and resellers. Ban diesel exports. Diesel specifically, okay. Let me see. I want to see, like, how bad the lines are. How Ukrainian... I don't know what the site is. Medusa.io. I'm just reading. I don't know if it's true. This shit could be fake as hell. They have gasoline stores that are now empty. Since late summer, residents in many Russian regions have been reporting gasoline shortages. Is this the first winter season that we've had since Ukraine has really managed to disrupt their fuel supply? Like, I know they were still engaging in these attacks a year ago, but I feel like there's been a big ramp up. This one's going to be distinct. This is going to be different. They can use vodka as gasoline? Yeah, but how well can they use it to heat their homes? You can't really use alcohol to heat your homes that well. Not everyone's in a rural enough area where you can burn wood. And even then, it's not like every part of Russia is forests abundant. In parts of Crimea, the situation is critical. Many stations have closed completely. At the ones still open, there's no gasoline, only diesel and natural gas.
The gasoline shortage that arose in Russia in the summer after a series of drone attacks on major oil refineries continues to worsen and is already affecting the central regions of the country. This was reported by the Reuters agency, citing sources.
Citing sources, huh? Yeah, never mind, sorry. Yeah, I want to see what the cost is. When gasoline is available, it's prohibitively expensive. For small stations, it's simply not worth buying. In early September, the exchange price of 95 octane hit a record of $984 per metric ton. I don't really have a good mental model for how much that is relative to how much it should cost. Well, 92 octane rose above $844. In Primorsky Krai, the cost of 95 octane gasoline on the exchange has jumped 30% since the start of summer, topping $1,200 per metric ton. Sales volumes from these refineries have fallen by 25 to 57%. Residents say some gas stations are charging $4.12 to $4.30 a gallon. Damn! That's like American prices, but Americans are much, much, much wealthier than Russians. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's like California prices right there. Also, don't Russians drive just as much as we do? Because their country is so big. Like, they're also pretty spread out, you know? They drive around quite a bit. Okay. Well, I guess we'll see how the winter goes. It kind of seems like this could be fucking devastating for the Russian occupation if they're not able to keep these lines open.
Ситуация с бензином, короче, не меняется. Сотого нету, 95-го нету, даже 92-го нету. Короче, остался только дизель есть. У меня запас хода всего лишь там 40 километров.
Those oil prices are actually incredibly cheap compared to the EU. Yeah, but two things. For one, Russians drive a lot. There's a reason why the Russian dash cam video thing is such like a wide trend. It's not just the police corruption. They drive a lot. And for two, Russians are much poorer than the average EU resident. Like the you know, we're adjusting prices here for USD, but like once you do that,
Осталось и все. Так что, слушайте, бензина в Белгороде нету. Вот такая вот история.
and again, it's not even to speak of like the winter fuel problem. We're talking about cars right now, but pretty soon it's going to be ice everywhere. Summer's, you know, we're in fall now, but like in a couple of months. Yeah. Like average monthly wage is around 1,100 USD. So I guess like the median annual wage or annual income in Russia is like 12,000, which is like a fifth of America, and I don't know, like a third to a fourth of Western European countries, I think, depending on them. It's pretty bad over there. That's average? Yeah, the median. Highly distorted? Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, it's always gonna be. It's a lot of people there. A lot of inequality. Oh yeah, European cities also use either wood, electricity, or city planning heat. My guess is that the situation for like fuel distribution in Russia is a lot more fucked than in many parts of Western Europe, because many people in Russia live in like the back end of the world, basically. Like it's very rural, very detached, very, very out there. So it's not like, oh, you're just on the electrical grid, just use the electric heater or whatever. Like there are like tons of people with wood furnaces, tons of people who are using like regular fuel. So rural America, but worse. Yeah, rural Russia is really, really bad. Rural Russia is not, it's not good to live there. It's not easy to live there. It's not even just an economic thing, right? Like Russia is many parts of it are just not that hospitable to human life. Putin says Russia has plenty of coal reserves to weather it. Reserves? Like what, in a silo? There's a fairly large amount of coal of various classes which will last for almost 1,000 years. All coal reserves will last for 900 years. What? For one, no. For two, you haven't dug it up yet. Good luck getting the money to do that. Like, it's difficult. That's a whole operation. For three, coal can't run cars. You can run power plants with it, but that's only useful for stuff that's on the electrical grid. Are you suggesting like everyone in every house, people are getting like lumps of coal? I mean, you can do that. Sure, it doesn't fix the car situation. Yeah, thank you for pointing this out. 20% of Russian homes don't have indoor plumbing. Like, we're not dealing with a very wealthy country here. They just have a lot of people, and they have a lot of Cold War armaments. And that's pretty much it. In Nazi Germany, they had coal-fueled buses for a while. Ugh. Probably stank like shit. They have a ton of nuclear energy. Yeah, but I'm not talking about the grid. I'm talking about there's a lot of stuff they need that's off the grid. Vehicles, home heating, and also I really don't think that much of their power is nuclear. What country do you think is better off economically, Russia or Mexico? Easily Mexico. Easily 100% Mexico. Russia is a petro state that barely holds itself together by selling fuel to China or whatever. You know, Mexico has a robust, vibrant, productive economy. It's just that like a third of the territory of Mexico is de facto controlled by cartels. You can heat houses with nuclear? Yeah, because it powers the grid. But a lot of Russian homes don't have appliances that can heat the house off of an electrical grid. Like, the heating situation in a lot of these places is not like, oh, just plug 6 space heaters in or whatever. I don't think they could afford that. Just shut up. Put the fucking, yeah, put the uranium in the in the lead sphere. Put the fuel rod in the tank. Have you covered the encirclement? I'm not super interested in like the play-by-play military stuff. I'm more interested in the broader economic stuff, you know? Russia has plenty of soldiers to lose, and morale doesn't seem to be too much of a concern for them. But it's all predicated on, like, the idea that this is winning them stability back home. If that falls apart, alternative fuel isn't really helpful. You can't just put coal in a wood furnace. Okay, sorry for being, like, actually stupid, but genuine question. Why not? I actually don't know. I've never burned coal. I've burned charcoal, but that's completely different. I mean, you probably could. It usually ruins it. You could, but it burns fast. So with coal, you need some kind of like special way of burning it. It's not like wood where you just burn it and leave it there for a few hours or whatever. You need a different way. Coal is too hot and dirty. Oh, that's true. Like, even if coal burns in a furnace, what if all of it burns away in like 30 minutes and your furnace is like white hot afterwards? That wouldn't be good at all. Like, yeah, okay, guys, time to heat up the house. Let me fucking, like, you know, hit the lighter on the coal lump and fucking, like a core of heat, like a little sun in your house, and then it's done after a minute. Doesn't seem very efficient. Also, it would stink. Their electrical infrastructure probably can't handle the amount of energy you need to heat all the homes. Fuck no. Dude, have you guys ever had 2 space heaters plugged into the same circuit? Like in a regular American home? You'll trip it. You'll trip the circuit breaker. Like every time. How robust do you think the electrical infrastructure is for the average Russian home? Do you think they have like 18 separate circuits and all of it's like connected to a really robust, like, oh, we can handle all the home power we need, you know? Probably not. I don't think they can heat their houses via the electrical grid. Kill the power for the whole neighborhood. American homes are built from paper and drywall. It's cheap stuff. What the fuck does that have to do with what I'm talking about? Insulation? Yeah, but what is your argument that Russian homes are well insulated? Insulation is expensive and difficult. I imagine a lot of these houses are probably pretty inefficiently heated. Like, people are probably, like, sleeping around the fireplace, you know? It's hard living out there. Well, anyway. Sorry. Kind of rambling here, but it's interesting. Really happy to see there might be, like, a positive horizon, you know, future for Ukraine. The economics of the situation are just not working out well for Russia. And, you know, even though it's only because he listens to the people around him and has no personal principles and is really susceptible to flattery, I am glad that President Trump is, you know, amenable to this, I suppose. They do have good nuclear, though. Yeah, but nuclear can't heat their homes or move their vehicles. Do we start sending Russians aid? Well, actually, the big ethical conundrum down the line will be what happens if the Kremlin intent on staying in this war, even as with every passing winter, like 100,000 Russian civilians die from freezing to death. You know, that would be really rough. Eesh. Or what happens to these people if Russia collapses and need help? I've always been consistent on this. Okay, if Russia collapses, we have a moral obligation to help. Holy shit. Listening to Vosh talk about burning coal is hilarious. Have you ever started a charcoal grill, my dude? Do you... Dennis the Peasant in chat, do you think that charcoal is the same as coal? Out of curiosity, would you like to... No, Dennis the Peasant. So so you came in this very confident. Let me just see. Do you think they're the same thing? Have you ever had a campfire? That's also... You don't light a campfire with coal. That'd be a crazy campfire. Don't do it, it's bait. When you come at the king, make sure you don't successfully bait him. Anyway, yeah. If Russia falls apart, we have a moral obligation to help them. We did, after all, kind of cause the current situation. After the Cold War ended, the American political and capital class, the Western political and capital class, all dipped their balls in the soy sauce and rubbed them all over Russia's face, and kind of caused the situation that, you know, kind of contributed to it a little bit.